If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode. Perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode.
Perfect.
What up? Welcome to Perfect Mode. And first off, let me start by telling y'all that we love y'all. We're grateful for the opportunity to be anywhere, sharing our thoughts, hopefully, and helping you realize that you are perfect. And the reason why I can say that unapologetically is because I know that you are one of one, numero uno. You cannot be replicated, duplicated. And the only reason, and I mean the only reason you think otherwise is if you're looking at this person on the side of you and saying, I'm not them. But guess what? You are you. And that's all you need. And of course, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And of course, it's yours truly, Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. And I have my boy, Jay Clay, spiritual rapper and teacher. And we about to jump on here and talk about how to rewrite the rules of success. And finally, and I mean finally, be free. What up, Jay?
What up? Happy day. Happy Father's Day. Happy perfect day to all my perfect people at the perfect place at the perfect time, ready to talk about this perfect topic that you perfectly need to hear about right now. Yeah, man, this is a good one for sure. As always, we're on this success run right now, and as always, I'm feeling good.
I love the success run, bro. Like I love it just because, number one, I think that we should always feel like we're in a success run if you really just take a step back and look at your life and where you are.
Yeah.
But I also like the fact when I recognize it without me having to take that moment to step back and realize that I'm rolling. And I have that energy and I feel it. But what was your thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah. So one of my thoughts, it started with a question, right? Because, we write the rules of success. Because, when you think about success, there's a general idea, like maybe money, maybe fame or notoriety. I don't know. It's different for everybody. But at the same time, there might be this collective thing with money being at the forefront. And it made me wonder, though, why does success matter at all? Like who said that success matters? First of all, and then this is a real question because, of course, a part of you is like, just because it should matter. You do something, it should be successful. But like, why? Like for real, why? What's the why behind it? Does it do something for you? Does it stroke your ego? Does it make you feel better about yourself? Does the reverse? Like if you're not successful? But again, what is success and why does it matter?
Yeah, and I love that because the first thing that came to my mind was, what is a measure of success? Why, what quantifies or qualifies something as successful? Number one, again, like you said, why does success matter at all? Because you're basing your production or what you're doing off somebody else, but who actually sets the standard? Who sets the status quo for that? Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, no, right. Like who said, all right, this is what success is. You must follow it. You must work hard. You must be in full service to it at all times. You must always work toward this thing, this achievement, like it's your God, and you must follow it blindly. Be successful. This is the way to be. What is success and why? Like still, there's no why behind it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, though, like just to kind of add to it, if success is your leading thought process, why does it have to reverberate through everything else in your life? And I think that was a big part for me. So just looking at things that I've qualified myself as being successful for, and how in those given moments I could, feel all of that, and then feel like everything else in my life is successful, which you should feel anyway. But on the flip side of it, not be as successful as something that I feel like I should be, and feel like the rest of my world is falling apart. And again, it's funny how we operate that way. But go ahead, Jay.
It was funny too. Like, okay, so as you know, I have a new song out, Humble Yourself. And I talked to you about this off camera, but how like normally when I release a song or anything, it's almost like this has to be successful. I got it. My whole life depends on this song. If this song is not successful, I'm gonna be a wreck. I'm gonna fail at everything. Like it's crazy, but that's just how much pressure I put on myself in the past. And this is the first time that I didn't. And it's been seeing successes that I haven't even dreamed of or even imagined because I'm not tied to it. And I'm also free to continue to create and continue to do things. And so it's important to realize that not everything has to hit every benchmark, I should say. Like, because again, what's the measure of success? Sometimes success could be just reaching one person and changing their lives. Sometimes success can be just going through the act of something, or sometimes success can be a certain amount of money made. Like it's so many things, but we don't always stop to identify those. We just say success. So I need to achieve success. I need to be productive so that I can be successful. But why?
You know what's funny about this whole thought process of the path that we're going right now is I think about, you said music, but just a general thought process that I know that many people around me have had just through my life and growing up is wanting to be a millionaire. Like nobody ever says I want to be a billionaire, not being realistic in a sense, but most people be like, okay, I'm going to do this and so for me to be a millionaire. And, to set the stage for that and have that be the main qualifier for your success is a crazy thought process. Though we do that unintentionally and naturally all the time, because again, I've literally heard that phrase a million times in my lifetime. And the thing that comes to my mind is like when you first if you start a workout program and you get into the push-ups part of it, what they'll do is they'll say, do push-ups till you can't do push-ups anymore. And then when you get to that stopping point, your level or your measure of success is the number that you hit, not some outrageous, fictitious number that's not realistic, not necessarily, because anything is realistic, but realistic based off of your own frame of thought. And that's the thought that comes to my mind. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and the reason too that that I'm like, why does this matter? Why does it matter? Is because we set our actions, according to the things we set for ourselves. So if we don't know why we're doing something, if we don't know our intent behind it, we could be giving undue energy to something that doesn't deserve our energy. Like for instance, okay, because now like I no longer work at a normal 9 to 5. I have individual clients that I might do stuff for. It could be some coding work. It could be some coaching, just whatever it is. I have different clients. And, each of those clients, you have a goal. But I was like, man, when I had a job like the 9 to 5, that job is my client. Like if I'm being honest, but I might give my manager that much power. I might give my coworker that much power, but not to say that they don't matter as people. Like everybody as a human matters. Yet me maybe appeasing to them or doing things to their standard doesn't matter as much as long as my client overall is happy. Who is my client in this job, or who is or like in this success measure of what I'm moving toward? What matters and why does it matter? And do I care that it matters? Go ahead.
And I love that train of thought, because the thing that comes to my mind is I'm my own client in this life. Like I have to do the things that make me happy. But also, when I think about the measure of success, you were talking about the CD. I literally just wrote 4 books, right? In the past month, I wrote 4 books. Yeah. Now, mind you, my mentality was, and again, I could have approached this like I'm about to sell 1 million books, but I never thought that, because I understood that was a success measure that wasn't my own. That was just a habitual nature thought that you would have when you create something that you're going to sell. I'm going to sell 1 million of these, right? And so I told myself, you know what? The goal for me is just to write the books. So the reason why I point that out is for 2 reasons. Number one is because I wrote them, I was able to successfully achieve my goal, which in turn, regardless of any sale or anything, made me happy. Because again, my ultimate goal is to make my client happy. And so the client is like ecstatic, like, man, I can't believe I did that. And it's not about selling anything. It's not about making any money. It's just about me creating something inside of myself and making it come to fruition. That was the first thing. Then I think about me creating the audiobook version of one of the books, right? And I never told anybody that the book was out. You know, I just wanted to do it so that way I can experience that portion of what's going on. And of course, I want to sell a book, right? But that wasn't my primary focus. It was like, do the audiobook. So much so that I came and told you, hey, I did the audiobook. This is the way that I did it. And you gave me tips on how I did it. And I was excited about it. So again, me making my client happy in ways that I didn't think, thinking outside the box. And then to add, a little bit more to it, I look on Audible and there's 4 books sold. Now, again, most people might be like, 4 books, that's nothing, right? But for myself, because I had no intention on promoting and selling that book, there was a whole level of joy for the 4 on the Audible because nobody even knows that. And so I say all that to say this, bro. I understood the assignment, as people say. The assignment was for me to accomplish this thing that I want, that was going to make me happy regardless of how anybody else felt about it. And because of that, I'm reaping benefits on the back end of it without it being a success goal. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, right. And so what's funny in this is that people will hear that somebody sold 1 million and then that becomes their benchmark. They're like, man, I gotta sell 1 million, which is a lot, when you think about it. But 750,000 is a lot. 200,000 is a lot. 20,000 is a lot. Like, if you sold 5,000 books, like, that's a lot. If you sold 1,000, if you sold 500, like, I say this to say that we don't give ourselves credit for all the steps along the way, just because maybe we heard a story about somebody achieving the highest thing. And so we're not allowing ourselves to experience this joy. But as you said, the joy is in the creation. Like, you don't know what to expect. You don't even care. You're like a kid. You're doing it out of the curiosity, out of the fun, just because you want to know for yourself. And then you go to the next step, which could be marketing it and selling it and more, which will come with its own set of fun standards if that's the route you choose to take. And we often rob ourselves of certain things because we're trying to live to somebody else's standards who we didn't even have a conversation with to say, does this work for me? Is this what I truly want? Why do I want this? Just because you had it? Like, I'm happy for you. Do I want this? Maybe, yes. But unless you really ask yourself these questions and see what it is you truly want, you can be on a fool's errand almost.
Shouts out to Yvette Espy, my girl. I hope all is well with you. Appreciate you joining us. But bro, man, this is one of the reasons why, I love coaching, right? When you talk about recognizing the successes that you're having that are not the successes of the status quo of everybody else, just stuff that you create within yourself. And so I watch my boys with a hawkeye. I see everything. I watched every tape. I watched every game. And I know that if we were to quantify success in a basketball sense from the average person, it's like, how many points did you score in that game? Right? That's the thing that everybody wants to know. And if you didn't score a certain amount of points, then there's not a level, you didn't have the level of success that we anticipate or you should expect from yourself. But see, for myself, when I get to go back and look at the game, or when I'm looking at them live, I'm always trying to pick out stuff that has nothing to do with what I told them that they need to do from the standpoint of go out and score points or go out and get steals or go out and play defense. I will go and say, hey, TJ, man, when you did that backspin in the game, that was cold, bro. I don't know where you got that mud from, but the reason why I point these things out is because, number one, I know that this is something that he feels like it's a successful thing, but he doesn't think anybody's paying attention to. And so just trying to highlight things that are not the goal for everybody it's always been important for me. And I try to also do that for myself. Like, again, just talking about the books, everybody wants to know how many books I sold, right? But nobody knows about me being able to get in my computer shut down and me having to get in the garage band and record it and figure that all out. I couldn't even believe that I did it. And that's a success measure. That's not a real success measure. It's just about what's on the inside coming out and making this client happy. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and it's funny too that you brought up basketball because I play basketball Sunday mornings, and my first goal or of a successful thing is, one, I want to have a fun way to exercise. Basketball is that. So one, when I arrive in that sense, I'm already successful. But next, you would think the next thing winning, but for me, for these past few weeks, I wanted to see if I could just run the whole time. Like, just don't take breaks when it's, especially when it's our possession. Like, run down there, every change of possession, just everything, because I put myself in the best position. And today we happened to win 4 games straight. And you would think that was a success because somebody like told me afterwards, like, man, y'all ran the court today. Y'all won 4 straight. But I wasn't happy at that. I was happy at the fact that I was able to run and I was able to still contribute while elevating, I guess, my output, so to speak, that I'm not used to. And so, like, that was the main thing. Because of course I missed shots, I made shots, I made defensive stops, all this other stuff. But the success, but the benchmark for me today was, yes, I was able to run the entire time, something I'd never been able to do before.
But see, to me, again, I love that story because, again, it doesn't mean that it always is going to work out that way when it comes to the wins and the losses, right? But a byproduct of you making yourself happy and challenging yourself to something that had nothing to do with outside forces propelled your team. Yeah. Again, you could have walked that day and it could have changed the whole dynamic of the way that y'all play. So, you know, I love that. And I think about that from the standpoint of real estate as well. Every realtor, everybody that's ever become a realtor wants to be a millionaire, bro. Every single person. I've never talked to a real estate agent that was not trying to make $1 million, at least when they first started, before what you would call is the realization of the business hits them, right? And I mean, I get it, right? You know, you see an avenue for something to happen, but you make an unrealistic goal, which in turn makes you walk a pathway that is not going to make you happy. It's you don't have the endurance and the energy to just keep running because you haven't said, well, my goal is just to run the whole time. And what happens. And so for myself, the way that I've been able to navigate for 8 years doing this is because the only goal for me is seeing a smile on somebody's face when they close. So that means whether I close 10 or 1, I still am happy because what I wanted to happen happens no matter what. And I think that's I think that's where we fall short because, again, the goal that we're setting or the goals that we're setting are not our own. It sounds good, it looks good, and it seems like it's the right thing to do because the overarching, sentiment of the public or anybody that walks this path is this. And if I don't do it this way, then I can't be happy. So I'm doing it this way, not making myself happy to achieve something that's not even a part of my nature. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, man. Like we're following the rules of others that we didn't want to follow. We're following rules you never chose. And it's sad because people think that they have to follow them. They don't even realize they get to make their own rules. And, you know, we have stuff going on now where you think you got to vote for rules. Like, no, do what you want to do because you want to do it. You don't even got to broadcast it to the world. Just do what's for you is what's for you. And I trust me, you would be so much more happier. You would be so much, you have little to no stress. Like you would just be free. Like, man, like, why was I wasting all this energy trying to get them to see my point of view when I could have just did what I thought was right from the beginning? You can, and it's a reason why you think it's right because it's for you. This is how you were meant to experience the world. And when you're following other people's rules or other people's ways of success, it feels like a drain. It feels like a grind. Like you're working way too hard when you could be working fun. You can be working easy. You like work should be fun. We shouldn't hear the word work and be like, I gotta go to work. We should be, I'm about to go to work. Like, it's like, let's work, let's get it. So yeah, go ahead.
Bro, I'm gonna say this, and then I know we got to get to how to rewrite the rules of success. I like how we actually do it. But I had to say this, man, because again, it's something to say about making the client happy, and you are the client. And the amount of what you would consider to be weight that you're willing to carry when you're happy. And, you know, ever since I started writing these books, bro, there is a joy. Because, again, I got multiple books that I'm working on all at the same time. And, again, I don't even feel like I'm lifting a weight by doing it, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But funny enough, you know, me and my wife, we were sitting in the bed the other night, and we were talking about basketball. And I asked her, I said, have you ever heard about the Skirvin Hotel? because we were talking about Oklahoma City, and Skirvin Hotel is supposedly a haunted hotel that every time the players go there, something crazy happens. And they had these crazy underground tunnels and all this kind of stuff, right? And so we were kind of walking through and talking through it and saying, if that happened to me, this is what would happen, right? And so again, my thing, the thing inside of me that's making me happy is recording and making this the story. So I was like, man, we just need to write a book about what would happen if we was in the Skirvin Hotel, right? And so immediately, bro, like without hesitation, I got on my chat and I started telling it, hey, this is a story. Me and Chardonnay, we was here and we wanted to go here. We wanted to go to the NBA finals and blah, 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 blah. And I'm running down all of these thoughts and I was like forming it into my chapters, right? And so before I knew it, we had this horror thriller type of story that we write based off of me and her. And again, nobody may ever hear this story. The book may never come out. But what I do know is in the creation part of it, me making my client happy, not hesitating in doing it, there was nothing but joy and excitement for it. And again, that's where I think that we have to lie. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, because and that's what sparks creation. That's what allows us, like you said, to expand ourselves and see what we're capable of. Because I feel like when we create, that's us in a way co-creating with God. Like we're in communion with God when we do that. And it's been so many times that I've even stopped myself. I'll say me, that I've stopped myself from experiencing creation because I was too far ahead. I was like, well, how am I gonna do that? Am I gonna start a company? Am I gonna try to get a publishing house to publish my book? Am I gonna try to do this? Like whatever it is, you get too far ahead and you miss the gift that is in the joy of the right now of just explore, just see where it goes. It might go nowhere. It might go somewhere. Like that's not even the point. Right now, you have a curiosity that you get to fulfill and it's fun. Like I'm sure you have fun. Excuse me, I had to burp. Communicating with ChatGPT and then reading it back and then co-creating again, saying, all right, what about this? Let's add this element into it. Like, why rob ourselves that fun because we don't know the answers to some other stuff? Let's at least get the answer to this that sparks our curiosity.
And reality of it is, if our standard is like God and his whole first thing was creation, you know, and again, you know, I know that people might feel like that's kind of far-fetched, but the reality of it is the world that you live in, you have literally created. You have literally put all the people around you that you want. If you have kids, you put them here. If you got friends, if you got a house, if you don't have a house, if you got a car, like it was all things that you decided were a part of your world and you put them all there. And so that also goes to show that the things that come out of you can be a part of the creation that you're making. And, you know, bro, like, let's get to it, baby. Let's go. You go.
Yeah. I want to say too, and also just to take what you said further, if you have your own room, everything in your room you put in there straight up. You. And so if you don't like your room, it's I mean, of course it's on you, but just change the room. Just get some stuff out, put some new stuff in. But that's part of how to rewrite the rules of success and finally be free. And I guess just to start it off is to know what you want. And that's not always as easy as it sounds, but it starts with asking yourself some questions. It starts with trying some things that others might not care for you to try, but who cares? It's for you to try. This is your success. And just try. Not even try, just do. Go ahead.
No, just to kind of add to that and piggyback off of that. When Jay Clay says know what you want, I'm going to tell you, once you know what you want, you have to be able to remove all the ideology that's tied to it. So what I mean is, again, at some point I decided that I was going to be a realtor. I'm going to be a realtor. And I instantly started to look outward versus inward. I literally started to see what everybody that was a realtor was doing, how much money they were making, where they were going, what tasks they were doing, like all of these different things that I said, okay, you know what? In order for me to be this thing, I have to assume all of this stuff. Now, mind you, the first person that was a realtor didn't assume anything. They literally just created a pathway for themselves. And so a part of the stress and the strain that I had when I first became a realtor was because I took on a bunch of assignments that were not my own. I took on a bunch of pathways that were not my own. And it's not to say that you can't go down somebody's pathway, but you better make sure that pathway is something that you want. And that's a part of knowing what you want. Like, you have to know that what it takes for me to get it this way is something that I want as well. And so when I first became a realtor, it was tough. I was like, I initially thought, okay, I'm gonna go do door knocking, I'm gonna do all of these things, and I realized quick that I don't want to do any of that stuff. And so it changed my view on what a realtor was. And so in that, I had to step back. I had to find out what I wanted to do, and I had to find out, was there a pathway in it for me to do it my way? And that's not something that always came easy. It's something that's always an ongoing thing. I'm always coming up with new ways to craft ways for people to recognize me in this field. But the reality of it is, the things that I choose to do now are the things that I want to do, which makes them easier. Not as frequent as I would like to, but it's not a strain on my life. And I also can feel the joy when doing it. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And we should be allowed to play. We should be allowed to just try those new things. And the worst case scenario is it didn't lead to anything, but you have fun doing it. The best case scenario is you have fun doing it and it led to something. So it's like it's a win-win. Like, what do we want more than anything? We want to have fun. We want to have a good time. We want to feel good about ourselves. But oftentimes we might scroll. We might just be sitting there bored, scrolling, looking at everybody else having the time of their lives, when there's an idea in our mind worth exploring, at least putting it on paper, or at least just draw a doodle of what it could entail and allow yourself to go down that path. Nope. I don't know if we have something in us that thinks, people might think we're crazy if we try this new thing, but who cares? Like, I actually enjoy being crazy. I've been called crazy a number of times, been called weird a number of times, but it's cool because they still do it. They say it in a loving way, and they like my energy. I like my energy, because you have to live with you more than you have to live with anybody else. And like you said, you are your own client. Make your client happy.
Bro, and even again, just to the thought process of thinking, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to think I'm crazy? And again, you got to just look at the evidence that you've given yourself through your life. And the only reason I say this is because I'm almost 100% sure that you have experienced this. But you've told somebody that you're doing something, and they didn't have it firm what it was or how it goes, but they have expressed their amazement in what you're doing. Like, wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that you can do it that way. And the reason why I point that out is because in most instances, even people that have a firm grasp on the thing that you're doing, when you share a new thought with them versus them thinking of you being crazy, they think of, wow, why am I not doing that? Again, I'm using real estate as an example. When I first became a realtor, I was a little bit younger. I was 8 years younger, and I was kind of a pup compared to a lot of the real estate agents that were before me. So I would be in these training classes, and when they would ask questions, I would say, well, yeah, I'm on here. I'm using, that's when we were fresh using Marco Polo. I remember. And I was like, yeah, I talk to all my clients Polo because it's an easy way for them to go back and recall the messages, and they can always, I would say all of this stuff. And so after the meeting, all of the older realtors would come up to me and be like, hey man, can you show me how you doing that? And like, it's amazing. I didn't even know we can do stuff like that. And it was something so simple to me. I did to make my life easier, and it made me happy. And I didn't think that, hey, the traditional way is you need to talk to everybody on the phone, and you got, like, that's the way that my business was done. But nobody looked at me crazy because I was using technology to benefit me. And the reason why is because I wasn't afraid to allow myself to be a part of the process. But go ahead, Jay.
Right. And that's what's beautiful about like the newness of everything, is because you don't know those traditional ways, like you said, and which is why you should always surround yourself too with people who are new and have questions, because you can learn from them, they can learn from you, because you have that structure of what works for you, and you have these people that's uninhibited by all of that. And then also, like, success, as a blanket statement wasn't always built for joy. It might have been built for money or something. So like I've heard many people join many fields because it's like, that's what the money is. There's money in that. I do this, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna live happily ever after, boom, bam, boom. And then of course you hear endless stories of these people with all the money in the world aren't happy at all. But also people realize that it's not as easy as it sounds. It still takes its level of work. Now, again, that can still be fun work if you are having fun doing this thing. But if you're not having fun, let it go. Do something that you do have fun in, because it's money and everything. It's joy in everything. It's money in everything. I firmly believe that the money follows the joy, because it's that positive energy. It's that currency. You have that current where it's just all flowing through you and flowing to you. So make sure you build a system for joy for yourself.
Look, bro, I can't co-sign that enough when you say money follows the joy, because I have seen so many people making so much money on stuff that I thought was crazy before I saw it, that it's an amazing thing. But you know, again, the thing that we have to do is realize that again, our topic is how to rewrite the rules of success. Thing you got to understand is you determine what success is. That's the bottom line. Like when I wake up in the morning, one of my measures of success is that you tell yourself that you're amazing. And again, I'm not saying that you should feel any less amazing or any less successful, but my own success measure is that you tell yourself that you're amazing. And the times when I don't do that, I feel like I wasn't successful only in that realm. And I say, you know what? Tomorrow I'm gonna be better. But even though I wasn't successful at telling myself that I'm amazing this morning, doesn't mean that I'm not going to be. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to be successful at going to take a shower and brushing my teeth or going to give me something to eat. Like my success is based off of me doing the stuff that I want to do, and that's the way that it has to be framed in order for you to maximize who you are. Because if you're basing your success off other people, you in those things never shows. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and in addition to doing what you want to do just because you want to do it, it's fun to you. Still have an openness about you that's willing to pivot at the same time. Because many times we do get caught up in our own ways to our own detriment. Like we don't realize it, but like sometimes, okay, you do want to just scroll on social media all day. You do. It's fun. Everybody wants to do it. But then next thing you know, you might start believing, oh, I got to check up this news update, or I got to go look at this. And it's to your own detriment, because now you're spending all your time doing this, or all of your days putting your energy to something else that was only meant for you for one day, because you I don't want to say you deserved it, but you just wanted to let loose. You just wanted to chill out. But be open to pivot, because things not going the way that are planned is part of God's plan as well. Like it's still a good thing, but it's meant to allow you to see something new that you can now add to your repertoire of things to get you toward your definition of success.
And just to kind of go a little bit further on that as well, like things not going according to plan. Let's talk about it, right? It's only your plan. It's only your success. And whenever you have or bring outside factors into things, outside forces, you have to look at it from their standpoint or its standpoint as well. It's their plan. It's their pathway. And so whenever you have intermingling forces like that, it doesn't mean that you have to stop being you. It doesn't mean that you have to take on somebody else's structure, somebody else's path. It means that that's a time for you to co-collaborate is the word, right? Because there are times when I've been dead set on something because I felt like it is what I wanted. And now there's a stubborn piece of it that says, I don't need to hear what nobody else say, but I allow myself to listen. And I'm saying, using music as the example, there have been times where you told me something. I was like, I don't care. This is what this is. But then the reality of it is, by me listening to you and allowing myself to be open, like you said, I realized, well, I'm just being stubborn because this is something that I do really want. And now the co-collaboration happens, and now I can make the adjustment in a sense to ultimately make myself happy again. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Well, this is a side conversation too, but that's why you should never take things personal, whether you're the receiver of advice or you're giving advice and they don't take it, because sometimes you got to take time to listen and calibrate. Like, is it truth to that? Because there's been plenty of times where the stubborn me in the moment is like, nah, that's stupid. I don't want to hear that. That's dumb. That's like, what you mean? That's crazy. But then I sit with it and I'm like, shoot, you're right. Like that is the key thing. And so, like, you know, some people might take that personally, like, I can't believe they told me that was crazy. I'm here trying to help them, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, nah, it's not about that. Just lead with love always, and everything will be well. But back to the oh, go ahead.
No. I don't think that was off top. I think that was perfect. And I want to share something that you shared with me. It was a TikTok that you just shared with me the other day. And again, this is, to me, apropos to the point that we're making. There was a guy, right? And he had a YouTube channel, right? And he's putting out his YouTubes weekly. Might have been daily. I'm not sure. It was weekly or daily. And he said that he had 11 views a week for forever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he had 11 views a week for forever. And he said 11, maybe 12. But he never allowed it to shake his confidence of what he was doing, because he understood that he was doing it for him. That's the key here. Again, if he had a successful measure beyond him doing it for him, what he accomplished never happens. But because eventually what happens is you stop. You change what you're doing. You start to make adjustments based off of what other people are doing. But what he did was he continued to make his videos and only have 11 people watching. But what was amazing about it was one of those 11 people that had been watching him the entire time was Oprah. She never told anybody. She never shared it. That would probably blew up his page. She just watched it. And eventually she offered him a job. And that's the short version of it. Y'all can go look it up. But she eventually contacts him and says, hey, I want you to co-host something on my new network with me. And then, you know, history, you know, the rest is history. But again, it goes to show that the key here for me in hearing him was, it was not about everything and all the outside forces. It was him getting better at what he wanted to do, him expressing himself, working on himself, and doing all of these things for him. And out of it became, again, he was getting the joy, but out of it came the money. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And so I of course, I love that story. That's why I shared it with you. It made me think about the times where I forgot my why and how it led to me stopping doing something that I enjoyed. So I think it was in 2002 or something. I was like, man, I want to expand my catalog, just get more songs out there. I'm gonna release a song a week. And, you know, of course I won't be able to give each song its nice push, but who cares? I'm building out my catalog. So I was doing it, but then something along the way, like, I'm not getting enough plays. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Like I'm forgetting why I wanted to do it. And I started to overexert myself to the point that I only made it to 26 weeks when my initial plan was to make it to 52. And I was like, man, I just can't do this no more. This is craziness. Like but it's because I forgot why I was doing it. And I started thinking about other people's ideas of success and not my own idea. And again, like it's a lot different now because I don't attach so much pressure to certain things. It's just like, hey, I'm creating for me. And of course, it's with the intent to help. But this is the type of content I enjoy creating, but it's not tied to, I don't know, just these ideas that's in my head. It's just tied to, hey, this is what it is.
So I'll say this. So two things. I love, you said I still had the intent to help. And the reality of it is, if you're trying to help somebody else, you're always helping yourself, number one. That's one other topic, right? But the other part to this is, you know, Jay Clay said the first thing you got to do is find out what you want to do. You got to know what you want to do. The second thing he just said was, you got to know why you're doing it. You got to remember, like you have to always call yourself back to the carpet and remember why you're doing it. And trust me, bro, when I tell you I've done this a million times, because I understand the burnout of doing things for the wrong reason. I understand that I felt it so vividly. And the reality of it is, getting back to the beginning. Sometimes you have to go back and think, why did I start doing this in the very beginning anyway? What was I trying to accomplish? It'll help reframe what's going on, because a lot of times when we start to make those adjustments, there was a level of success. But there was a level of success that that we're measuring based off what we feel like the ultimate success is, right? It wasn't our own success. It was me putting out YouTube videos, and then next thing I know, getting 46,000 views, and me saying, well, I want to get 80,000 views, right? Forget about just putting the videos out. I want to get the views now. And so now my thought process is skewed. Now the way I'm moving is changed. Everything is different now. The whole dynamic of why I want to do it, how I want to do it. And so what happens is, yeah, I'm going to get burned out because I never want to do all that stuff in the first place. Nor did I care about the views in the first place. Nor did I care about structuring it in the first place. But that's the reason why I got the success. Because I was just doing what I wanted to do, and it was making me happy. And so just making yourself go back and recall, feel, and understand is really, really important. Go ahead, Jay.
Man, what's cool about this, and I tell Troy all the time, so like he saw he got like the 48,000 plus views. You know, he told me about it, and I was like, you're right. I'm just gonna start putting out content more often again, because I forgot why I stopped in the first place, and it was probably because I was trying to compete with my own highest numbers or whatever, and thought that the new stuff just couldn't compare. So the funny thing happened is that in me releasing stuff regularly, some of the stuff does blow up. But I'm not tied to it. Like, I'm not checking for the numbers daily. I'll see that something blew up from like last week, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's pretty cool. Let me keep going. But the thing is, what's cool about it is, like, the more you do something, the better you want to be at it, or the more creative. So it's almost like I don't want to just put out anything for the sake of putting out anything, even though some people are like, just put out the content, Like, nah, I got to do it my way. I got to have fun doing this. So if I'm not having fun doing this, I feel like I can't put my stamp on it to say this is for me, for you to enjoy it, which might not be the case. You know, people might want to just watch anything, but that's not fun to me. And so I'm thankful for that, all that transpired, and you sharing that with me, because when you shared it, it sparked some stuff that's led to me even being a more happy creator today. And which I think is the goal of all of it. Like you said, to help people in your art, to help people in your perception by doing just what you already want to do and love to do anyway.
And so I'm going to use content creation as a vehicle, because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the part. And I hope everybody gets this. The client is you. The person you're trying to make happy is you. And the success, the outside success that we all try to quantify and act like it's a big portion of what we're doing, that comes from the joy that people see in us, not because us trying to make them joyful. And so when I think about music or content, like when I make something, I want it to make me smile. I want it to make me laugh. I want it to make me happy. I don't want to get involved in trying to make other people laugh, because everybody thinks different things are funny. And so when I put the focus all on me, i.e. you making music, like, I don't want to just put this out any kind of way. Now, again, there's a balance to it all within your own mind, but you're trying to do something that's going to make you happy, right? And because of that, those things are going to blow up. That's for all of us. Like, we are so much alike, more than we ever give credit for. We try to act like we're so different, but we're all alike. We all experience the same kind of emotions. It doesn't mean everything that is funny to you is funny to me, but we all have these same cycles. And so by you giving yourself the opportunity to be you, all the people that go through a cycle of you, because they all go through a cycle of you at some point, when they go through that cycle of you and you're there, that's when that translates. But if you never give a true cycle of yourself, how could anybody ever allow that to resonate? And so that's why I love the fact that, you know, even hearing me say, hey, this is what's going on, there's still a piece of, well, what's going to make me happy in this? Because if I'm able to get that cycle of me out, that's where the true success will be for other people. But for me, I'm going to be happy. I feel it now. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I love that. And I want to bring back something you said. I forgot how you said it, but like you said, what makes you happy, that's the joy that people resonate with when they interact with your content or interact with your art, whatever you do, interact with your talking, whatever it is you do. it's the joy in it that people resonate with. And that's so true. Like the people I follow on social media, for example, it's something about their joy. You can tell how much fun they're having when making this. You can tell that creative fun thought was brought into this. It wasn't just mindlessly just bleh. But even that, like people who do that, they enjoy doing that, and it shows. So I love that you brought that up, and that's the perfect thing. Like just live in joy in all its facets, and you can't go wrong.
And again, if you're bringing yourself joy in it, other people are going to feel it, bro. I've talked to, and the only reason I'm using public speakers is because when a public speaker is speaking, nobody ever gives an acknowledgement majority of the time until it's over. It's a clap like, oh, he was good. If the clap loud, they was real good, right? But I've talked to public speakers before, and whenever they came off the stage, these are people that are close to me that would have this conversation, right? And they were like, man, when I said such and such and such and such, I hit that mug, right? And the funniest part about it is the part that they felt the most happy about, the part that they felt the most joy about is the part that I recognize as well. Oh yeah, you did kill that mug. It's the same thing in music. Whenever you hit a verse or you hit a line where you just be like, man, I know I killed that, right? First of all, you're going to say it that way because you feel that way. And guess what? That cycle is I'm going to feel it that same way too. I'm like, oh, he killed that one. And so I'm saying to subscribe in this again, know what you want to be, right? Know why you're doing it. And then on top of that, like, love it, like, give it, be it. Go ahead, Jay.
I'm laughing too. Okay, so I did an interview recently, and I was asked to kind of recall the process when writing "Let Go," because "Let Go" is one of my most successful songs as of yet. And what you said is true, because when I was writing it and I heard the words that were written, that joy is what I deliver whenever I perform it. And I still even remember my first few performances of that song. Like I just knew, because I was like, yeah, I had the same reaction, and that's what it was like. And it got the verbal reaction that I thought it would get. But it's true. I said it to say that it's true that the joy you have in the creation of it is the same joy that people experience when you're giving it, in the giving of it. And that's a beautiful thing.
You know, it makes me think of too. And the reason why I say this is because, again, it's just a real life example. When I still remember the first day I heard the beat you made, Nowhere to Run. I still remember it.
Yeah.
We was in the car, like going to Rollo house, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is going to be fine. Like, that's how I felt. So much so that whenever I wrote that mug like that, like, ooh, this is going to be fire. And again, I don't know how you wrote it, but that's how I felt. So much so that when we finished with it, I was like, ooh, this is fire. Now, funny, we performed many songs in front of many people in our life. We were on the beach in Cancun, did this song one time, and they wanted us to, one person out there, 10 people out there, 100 people out there. They kept wanting us to perform this song over and over again. Bad language, it didn't matter. But the reason why was because from inception, from the very beginning, there was love about it from me. There was me writing what success meant to me was just being on that, just being able to say anything. All I wanted to do was just to be a part of it. And so it translated all the way to performing on the beach. And that's what I'm trying to emphasize to everybody is that, again, know what you want, know why you doing it. Make sure you're having fun in it. Make sure that you're loving it and feeling it. And your steps will match. It will match. And then I'm saying outside success because at this point that I'm talking about, you're already successful. Yeah, I was already successful when J. Clay said I could be on the song. And the only reason he said I could be on the song is because he probably saw like, dang, he has a real level of appreciation for my beat. He got to be on here. So the world will start to move along with you because you cannot be denied. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, what was funny and cool about that I was thinking about is like how I write music is like as you know, I jump from song to song. I don't just necessarily stay on one song. But if I'm being truthful with myself, it's because the joy isn't as potent as it is at certain times. Like sometimes that joy is just like, ooh, yes, the whole song wrote itself. Or sometimes it's there to a point, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna come back to this later. And then when I revisit it, sometimes it's not there, but then other times it's like, I know what to do next. I know what's there next. And I've had people tell me like there's a resonance with my songs that you can feel the joy oozing out of it, and you just kind of pointed out why. And I never really knew why, but that's true. It's the joy you give and the joy you receive. Like it's a beautiful thing,
man. And again, I'm gonna emphasize even in the last thing you just said, the joy you give is the joy you receive, the joy you give yourself. Because if you're like, we always say, how can you love somebody if you don't love yourself? Yeah. How can you literally know how to make somebody feel happy if you're not making yourself happy? And so I just think that I love the fact that of the thought process of you writing Let Go, that I can even imagine the look on your face while you were writing it. You know what I'm saying? Because the way that I feel when I hear the song, or other people which have said 1 million times over now, over 2 million views and plays, like it was there. And I can just imagine why you were writing it. Funny enough, I've imagined other people who made songs that have been hits, and without saying it, I've imagined how they were in the studio. Like I've literally imagined, like I know they was crunk off in the studio for that one. And the crazy thing is I have no idea, but I assume it because you can feel it coming out of the music. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And to that point, like I want to reiterate that doing, having, and being are the same thing. And what I mean is, like, if you are to do something joyfully, that means that you have to have that joy to be able to do it joyfully. And if you have that joy, that means you are being joyful. You are a joyful person. And I say this to say that, like, sometimes people may be down and out about certain things, but they don't give themselves credit for the joyful times that they do have, realizing that they are full of joy, like they are happy. But they might not be dwelling on it to miss it. And that's why I wanted to say it. Like you have that joy to give, you have that love to give. It's your birthright, it's who you are. You naturally give that off. So be in it, have it, like share it. And when you do share it, you have it to give more of, because you're channeling it from the infinite source.
Now I want to shout out to Perfect Mode real quick. And again, tell everybody, just know that you are perfect. And this is kind of, apropos for the course when it comes to this topic. Like, you're perfect. Your rules of success matter. They're important. They're actually the only thing that does matter. And I say I'm using Perfect Mode as an example is because we could have stopped doing this show 5 seasons, 36 episodes ago. We're on season 5, episode 36. And my sentiment to you is to tell you to do what you want to do. Understand that you're doing it for you and make yourself happy, because you can have the stamina and endurance to do it. The reason why we're in season 5, episode 36 is because every single time we hit in stream, the first thing that me and him say is good show, man. And then not only do we say good show, we say, man, I opened my eyes up to this today, or you opened my eyes up to this today, or he say, I opened my eyes up to this. This is how I'm going to go for this week. And I told you, help yourself. If you're helping yourself, you're helping other people. Now, I don't have to have 1,000 views up there to know that there's 1,000 people watching me at some cycle in their life. Now, I do like when I get the emails and the DMs and stuff like that. But ultimately, the reason why we can be season 5, episode 36, is because I'm doing it for me. I know he's doing it for him. And then along the process, there are some benefits that we reap. And it might not be monetarily, but there are other things that are happening in our life because of that. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And it's so true. Like, again, when you do what you enjoy, when you do what you love, God is allowed to come out. That's the best way I can say it. And without restriction, you surprise yourself. Like, where did that come from? I've never shared anything like this before. That's amazing. I'm gonna take this into my day-to-day life, even though you're the one that's saying it, or even though you're the one that's doing it, or even though you're the one that had the idea for it. Like it's beyond you, but it's for you all at the same time. And the more you create or co-create or just act out your joy, you will be you will bear witness to it, and you would see the light that exists in your life all the time. That's always there.
And if that light is shining, your steps will follow. Look, for me, again, using perfect mode as the example, I hate to miss a show, right? Because I'm telling you, I do it for me. And because I do it for me, I'm always going to want to do what I do for me because it's going to make me happy. The only time I miss shows is whenever I go to basketball games with my kids. What do I love more than doing stuff for me? Doing stuff for my kids. And as crazy as it sounds, it's still for me because it ultimately makes me happy. And so every time I have this dilemma come up, I'm always torn. But the beautiful part about my dilemma in this instant is I get to be happy either way. Both ways make me happy. I'm not choosing to go and run laps instead of doing perfect mode because I'm not going to be happy about that. And there is also a domino effect when I say when you're doing the things that make you happy, there's a domino effect in how you move. If I stop doing perfect mode and go run, then there's going to be a domino effect in my life that might not be what I'm looking for. And so again, ideally, that's what I'm emphasizing is I feel it here. I know, and I do it for me, and it makes it easy. The repetition, the frequency, all of it. Go ahead, Jay.
Check this out. So when you okay, one, know what you want and know why. Again, it's a calibration process. It's trial and error. You gotta, just do and figure it out. When you do and you're being vocal about it and you sharing with others what you love doing, sometimes you might not, because of circumstances, you might not see that that's the thing you need the most. And the example would be is that there've been times I haven't wanted to do perfect mode on Sundays. Like maybe because I was just so busy that weekend, I did so much stuff like, man, I don't want to do it. But because Troy knows me, like, man, let's just do this mug. And it never failed. Like after like the first 2 minutes of speaking, all the joy just rushes in. And it's like, man, I did need this. This is exactly what I needed to do. But had I just kind of kept that to myself, I wouldn't have been able to overcome whatever that angst was by stepping into what I enjoy doing. But go ahead.
And again, this is the beauty of it, right? In the co-collaboration space. If J. Clay ever came to me and said, I don't want to do it today, I wouldn't think anything of it. I just understand his inside is not allowing it to be, right? It's not. And again, that's the part that we all have to understand. Like when you want and feel something, you're telling yourself something. Your client is telling you something. Your client is trying to let you know that it doesn't mean that I'm Xing out this part of my life. Right now, the client needs this in order to have the fuel to do anything else, right? And again, in J. Clay's instance, sometimes you could literally just kind of be torn. You might not want to do it because the reality of it is what I know with J. Clay is if he does not want to do something, he's not going to do that much. And again, same thing with me. I'm just not going to do it. And so if there was any reason why he stepped forward to do it, is because it wasn't that he didn't want to do it, but the client was going to be satisfied either way. And I think, and that's similar to with me in basketball. There have been times where I told you, hey, I'm gonna miss this game because I'm going to do this. It didn't work out that way, but I was going to do it because my client was going to be happy either way. My client wanted to do one of them for sure. You know what I'm saying? So, but go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So this is our time. I appreciate y'all rocking with us on this Perfect Sunday. If you found this helpful, hit that share button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We here every noon on Sundays, most Sundays out the year. Go ahead, Troy, to take us out or say anything else.
Yeah, it just, you're perfect, man. You are a perfect woman. You are perfect. And your level of success should be your level of success. And I would promote and encourage people to look at all the things you do for you as successful. Even if it's been minimized in your mind from other people to be nothing. You have to see that as something, because if you're doing it, it's an accomplishment being made. And you can take us out, Jay.
Yeah, you're a perfect creation made by a perfect creator. So you might as well accept your perfection and enter perfect mode. Yeah.
If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Everything